Welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, hanging out with you where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, and my sinus is acting up a little bit, so if I sound a little bit different, that is why. So I appreciate you being here inside these Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City, coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. They are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday, and you can go and visit them there on 7149 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. And, of course, you can check out their inventory of new and used vehicles by going straight to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. We are up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. So however you're connected to the broadcast, we welcome you and we thank you for being here with us. Once again, YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. On today's show, inside of MonPazPopcorn.com's What's Poppin', giving you a list of topics for the day. We're going to start things off on the broadcast with a twofer of our Lazer Lounge. I am joined by not one, but two of the OCC baseball student athletes here in the 2026 season, and I'm very excited to share this with you with Anthony Sawanec, who wears number 49 and is a third baseman, and Jesse DeMaintenon, who is joining us as well, number 42, who is a pitcher for the OCC Lasers baseball program. So that'll be first here in the first hour of the show. And then before we leave the first hour of today's broadcast of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I have a special announcement from GG Cards and Breaks, and it's an announcement on top of an announcement. So they're doing something this Saturday following the Syracuse versus North Carolina basketball game on February 21st, and the thing that they're doing, we're going to talk about. And then my involvement with it, we're also going to talk about. So can't wait to share that with you. And then hour number 2 will be spent with Rob Konrad, the last to wear number 44 at Syracuse University. And Rob is going to be talking with me about a letter that he sent entitled Strategic Imperative in the Selection of Syracuse University's Next Athletic Director. He sent that to the Syracuse University Board of Trustees, and we'll talk about that search for the new Syracuse head of athletics. All of that coming up here in this edition of Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Let's take a step aside, and when we spin back around, you will see our special with the OCC Lasers baseball program featuring Anthony and Jesse right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpazpopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpazpopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
Here to a very special edition of the Lazer Lounge. I'm on site, on location at Onondaga Community College, and I am here with the baseball team for the Lazers here inside of the 2026 season. I have Anthony Sawanec and Jesse DeMaintenon here with me. Of course, I'm Dan Tortora of Wake Up Call. We're inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Gentlemen, how are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Doing well.
Doing great.
Doing all right, Jesse. So we talked about hometowns off the air. And you guys made your hometown sound very quiet. So, Jesse, growing up for you, what did you do out in Canastota? What was your go-to?
Go-to?
Yeah.
I was just playing outside in the yard.
Playing outside in the yard?
Football.
Play football?
Wiffle ball.
Wiffle ball, okay.
And football, but...
So, wiffle ball was how good? Because obviously it's different. A wiffle ball is a little... You gotta hit it with a lot of power. So, how good of a wiffle ball player are you?
I'd say pretty good. I can throw a lot of different pitches.
You can throw a lot of different pitches with it?
Yeah.
All right. I respect it. Now, Anthony, for you, growing up in Westmoreland, what can you say about what life was like as a little kid out there?
It was great. I mean, everybody there was great. Community was strong. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
You both come from smaller towns. Do you like that feel? Is that something that, are you more like, hey, in my future I want to be in a big city, or do you like the small town?
I like the small town a lot. You know everybody.
Yeah.
I agree. Love the small town.
Do you feel like in its own way, being up here on a hill, that OCC is its own small town?
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of isolated up here.
Yeah, Jesse, I want to start with you. What made you choose OCC?
Probably the coaches here. Bob was very nice in recruiting me here, and I didn't really have any other options, but
yeah,
at the time, this seemed like the best option for me, best route to take.
You said you like Coach Perino, your head coach. What is it about him that just made you feel like, hey, this could be a good leader for me?
I think he's very level-headed, and he won't. He's going to tell you how it is. He's not going to sugarcoat anything for you.
Yeah. If I know anything about Bob, he's always saying what's on his mind.
Yes.
So, does that work for somebody like you? Do you like someone who's just going to tell you good, bad, or indifferent off the cuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Have you had coaches like him before or no?
Not really, no.
Okay. Anthony, tell me something that sets Coach Perino out on his own, something that you experienced with him.
He really cares about us off the field, like our school, our personal lives, and it's nice. Like he's worried about not just baseball. I like it.
How do you see that in the day-to-day? How do you see that he really does care about who you are as people and not just as student-athletes?
He keeps up with like our lives and
Yeah.
what we got going on, our classes. He gets on us about that. We're here to be students. So
Your connection to OCC, why was this the right fit for you?
I want to get better, and I like the facilities here. I like the coaching. So it's a good distance away from home. It's not too far, but kind of on my own. So.
Well, and I think the cool thing about OCC is that these facilities are really nice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like there's a stigma that comes with community college about education, and you come to OCC and you can get a good education, move yourself forward. You come here as a student athlete, and there's the stigma of, oh, it's junior college, but then you look at the facilities and they're better than some Division I facilities.
Yeah. I mean,
so for you, what was like the main determinant, Anthony, when you were coming here and you visited? What did it for you? What was the biggest thing?
probably weight room.
The weight room?
Yeah, honestly. Weight room's super nice. I like having like somewhere where the athletes can lift, because sometimes we're doing weird stuff and like doing it in the public gym's interesting to say the least. Yeah.
So having a place where you feel like you have that opportunity to have privacy and do what you need to do. What about for you, Jesse? What would you say is like the main thing that you look back on and say, once I saw this, that was it?
Probably the field. The field's so nice. Probably the best in Central New York around here. I mean, I don't think any of the teams that we play have a field that could top this.
Yeah. So having a field that you just feel like is the best of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that goes back to the facilities, and shout out to Onondaga Community College for putting in the resources for that. Jesse, share with everybody the position you play, and if it was always the position you wanted to play.
I pitch, and last year I played a little first base, but it's always been pitching. I've been blessed with some natural talent to throw the ball hard, and I like pitching.
So you always wanted to be a pitcher?
Oh yeah, for sure, since a young age.
Do you remember your first experience on the field as a kid? Can you go back to it?
Yeah, I think I was playing, I want to say second base.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm a lefty, so that's weird, but it was in Little League, so.
Yeah. So when did you start pitching?
Probably that same year.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Favorite pitch you throw? You have one?
My fastball.
Your fastball?
Yeah.
What is it like when you're training your body to do this? I think some people dumb it down to you either have speed or you don't. You either have good positioning or you don't. But there's so many nuances that go into what a pitcher has to do in keeping your body healthy, because the motion of being a pitcher is not a motion your body is supposed to actually do, which is why Tommy John and all these things happen. So what can you say about how you pitch and maybe what's different about your game? Like what would people not see that you're like, this happens all the time and people never talk about it?
I think the recovery process is huge. Usually I'd say probably 1 to 2 hours after I throw, I'll go up into the AER, do my shoulder and UCL stuff. Yeah. And then scraping is huge. That helps out a lot.
So bring people into that don't know when you talk about scraping.
It's like a metal tool, and you get some type of lotion or biofreeze or something like that, and you scrape it into your skin. Like usually I'll do the back of my shoulder and then my forearm, and that helps. It breaks up the soreness.
So the recovery process for you, like you said, what people don't talk about, how long in between games, you've talked to us a little bit about the process, but just kind of systematically, what do you do first and then second, and then like how much time is in between, so to speak? So you pitch today, bring me into what happens.
Tomorrow, so if I pitch tonight I would probably scrape, and then tomorrow I'll do a super heavy lower body lift. Okay. And then the day after that I'll start throwing again.
And do you feel like you've kind of figured out, hey, this is my body and I'm doing it the right way at this point?
I think that's been a big part of being here, is it's all on your own. So you have to know your body and what you need to do to be ready to go play again.
I appreciate that. Yeah. And obviously you sharing that. Anthony, for you, share with everyone your position and if it was always your plan.
I play third base here.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to play third base.
Okay.
I've played it before, but.
Where did you think you were going to be?
Middle infielder.
Middle infielder? So, how did third base happen?
it's a better fit for me, honestly. Just how I move and my abilities. I like being a third, though.
Yeah. So when you go back and you think about the first time that you played, what position were you?
I think it was at third base.
You think you were at third base? So you didn't think you'd be a third baseman in college, but you started your career at third base. Is there something that you didn't like about third base growing up? Or?
No, it's just you don't have as much area there.
Yeah. So you want more spacing.
Yeah, but I don't need any more spacing. I'm good with what I got over there.
You go with what you got. What is it about third base that you love the most?
Honestly, it's super scary, but when people are just rocking them at you, when you don't have time to think and you just got to get it, I like that.
What goes into here comes a line drive right at your face? Bring me into that split second.
Usually I'm like, oh man, and it's either I get it or I'm getting smoked.
But how? I mean, your reaction time has to be incredibly fast. How have you worked on having those reflexes? I know some of it is innate, right? It's kind of just you. It's God given. But then, what did you do to work on that skill of being able to react so quickly?
Well, I played a lot of sports like through high school. I've never really had a problem with like reaction time or tracking, but I will do like juggling and like just tracking stuff to try to keep it up.
So you work on juggling?
Yeah, I do. I enjoy juggling. Yeah.
Okay. How does that help your overall game at third base?
I think it's good. I mean, knowing where everything is, tracking, like fast hands.
Did you get that from? Did somebody say to you like, "Hey, try this out," or did you just like start doing it and say how this works?
It was one of my travel coaches was like, "And you look like you could juggle," and I couldn't, so I couldn't let him down. I had to learn to.
You had to learn to do it. So you know how to do it now.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
Pretty good.
Okay. If Anthony, I'll stay with you on this. If Jesse switched to third base and you switched to pitcher, who do you think would be more competitively sound?
Me. We threw against each other in high school.
You threw against each other in high school? So you think you'd be a better pitcher than Jesse would be a third baseman?
Yeah. And
Jesse?
he's left-handed. He's got to spin the circle and throw at the front.
Not a chance.
Not a chance? Why?
Because I've seen him pitch and I just know that I could do a better job at third base.
You do a better job at third base. How strange is it being a lefty and being on the right side of the field? Like, how weird is that if you were to be there? Because you talked about playing second base and having to turn. So, like, bring me into. I mean, is it normal for you at this point? If you had to go there, you could do it, or does it just mechanically feel weird?
I think I could do it. In high school, we didn't have a lot of players on our team, so occasionally the third baseman would come in to pitch for me, and I would have to go play third base as a lefty. Got the job done, but...
How did you get around the strangeness of being all the way to the right side of the field, but it being left-handed?
I don't know.
Well, you're in left. I mean, you're in left, but I'm saying from your point of view, this is the line, and you got to go this way.
I don't know. I like making athletic plays, so I think just goofing around with my buddies helps. Like, sometimes you have to not be so serious and just go play shortstop. Why not? You're lefty, go play shortstop. Yeah. I think that helps.
If you had to switch to your right hand, I love the face you just made. If you had to switch to your right hand, where would you trust yourself more? Hitting, pitching, or fielding?
Probably fielding.
Fielding?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely not hitting or pitching.
Anthony, if you had to switch to your left hand?
Hitting, for sure.
Hitting?
Yeah.
Why?
I'll hit lefty occasionally.
You will?
Yeah.
Well, now, how did you build the comfort of that? Because it had to be weird in the beginning.
Yeah, not in games, but like when I'm like training, just to get the body moving different, try to teach yourself how to move.
So for you both, as we're here in this 2026 season, and obviously we're in winter in the Northeast, where down south it's like 70, 80 degrees, how do you navigate that part of it? Where you have to practice indoors, where, obviously it's been wet outside forever, there's snow piles everywhere. How do you guys try to simulate and be prepared for a baseball game when you have to deal with elements that other teams aren't dealing with necessarily? I'll start with you, Anthony.
Well, honestly, we get outside, to throw out outside of practice. We're blessed to be able to go off campus and hit in a facility where we can see ball flight a little bit, do lives. So I think that's really great for us, being able to get a little bit, but it's tough, especially when you're out there, you're playing 14 innings and it's cold.
Yeah.
But we try and prepare, and we get outside as soon as we can, start getting acclimated to the elements.
What about for you, Jesse? What can you say about having your body ready and prepared, knowing that, most people view baseball season as the warm time of year?
Well, I think that just being outside in the cold, like yesterday it was like 38 degrees, but it felt so warm. I think our bodies naturally just...
Yeah. It's a heat wave.
Yeah. I think our bodies naturally adjust to being cold, especially for so long, I think.
I would agree with that. This has nothing to do with baseball, but I'm interested because you both have different styles. What your hairstyle? Why choose it? Why give me that Randy Johnson-esque, who I appreciate as a pitcher, but why bring the hairstyle you got?
I've probably been rocking it for probably a good 3 years now, but no, I like the mullet look, but obviously I need a haircut. It's way too long right now.
So are you going to shorten this but keep the back the same?
No. Everything will stay the same length.
Everything will stay the same length. Okay. Anthony, what about you? You got it up here, and you got a little thicker hair. Yeah. So what did this style for you? Were you ever short-haired? Or
I've had some interesting hairstyles.
Okay, why this one?
I let my buddy cut my hair. He's learned how to cut hair, and this is what he gave me. I like it, though.
That's what he came up with?
Yeah.
Would you ever rock the party in the back like your team?
Oh, yeah. That's what I had before
you did? Okay. All right. So what are the chances that you may go back to it?
I like it. They're high.
I've seen with baseball teams before that I've talked with that as they get closer to the postseason and the hope of making a run, they will either dye their hair together or they'll all rock the same haircut.
Yeah, we've got something cooking up.
Yeah.
What's cooking for 2026?
Buzz cuts.
Yeah.
Buzz cuts?
Yeah.
For everybody?
Yeah. We're trying to push it, but...
Okay. That everyone just shaves it all down? So for you, it would look completely different. And for you, it would look somewhat different because you have a little bit shorter hair, but are you guys for it? Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'd be down for anything.
Down for anything. So in order for the buzz cut to happen, what would essentially ignite this? Like what's that, the dominoes that fall, what has to happen that we go, okay, it's buzz cut time?
I think we just have to beat the teams we need to beat and then throw in one surprise there, then get to the playoffs, and there you go.
So this would be a pre-playoff buzz cut?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope you guys win the games that bring about the opportunity.
We should.
Okay. Now, this team this season, Anthony, for you, what makes you believe that this can be a very special year in 2020?
I think we're going to be really good. We got so much depth from the bullpen. We've got a lot of arms. We've got guys that can hit, guys that can field, and everybody loves each other. Like we're tight, and just having the camaraderie is a big part of it.
So having that camaraderie and that connection, you said you guys are tight. Everybody talks about family. Why is it not just a word but a real thing?
Because really everybody is there for each other, and this is all we got here. A lot of people are far away from home. This is your family here. So,
Jesse, for you, what makes you believe in 2026 for this team?
Well, we're deep. We are deep, but I don't think I've seen this many guys just working on their own. Like, I'll pop into the weight room just to see who's there, and it's all baseball players. Like, last year I didn't see that at all. I think we have a bunch of hard workers that want to win. It's not just, we're here to play baseball. They want to be here to win baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
How did that come about? Because you're talking about team buy-in and personal responsibility and accountability. So, everybody's got to make that decision for themselves, right? Why do you think collectively you have all made an individual decision to buy in?
I think one of our coaches before we went on winter break was like, hey, it's on you now. Like, you have to make the adjustments and work for it. And I think most, if not all, of our players took that to heart and started working.
Who's the pitcher on the team that challenges you the most?
Me?
Yeah. Like if you're looking at the other people in the bullpen, who do you think is the one where you're just like, if I had to go in a duel and he was on the other side, this pitcher would be the toughest pitcher to go up against?
At this point, I really think Nate Kroll would give me a run for my money.
Why?
I think we have similar pitching styles.
Okay.
And he's like, I don't want to say crazy, but like he's got that like mindset where he's gonna give it his all no matter what.
Okay, Anthony, for you, if it was a hitting duel, who on this OCC team is going to challenge you the most?
We got some guys that can hit. I'd have to go with Ryan Campbell.
Ryan Campbell?
Yeah.
Why?
He mashes. He hits the ball so hard to the opposite field, and he's a tough out.
To say something good about each other before we get into rapid fire, where we can throw each other on the hot seat and talk about literally any topic whatsoever. Anthony, I'll start with you. Tell me something good about Jesse.
He's a great dude. He works hard. He's always giving it his all, and he's happy to learn.
Happy to learn.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Jesse, tell me something good about Anthony.
He's a really hard worker, nice guy, really nice guy, and he pushes you. I don't think I would be in the spot I am today without Anthony.
Why?
Because last year he kind of took me under his wing and got me going.
To be at a 2-year school, knowing that you don't have as much time as other student athletes, what does that do for you? Does it change anything for you? Jesse, I'll start with you. Like, how do you kind of look at the fact that you have half the amount of time to make an impact, so to speak?
I think that OCC has given me a good chance to grow, and now I know what I need. So going into the next 2 years, I'll know, and I don't think I'll have any real challenges.
Do you already know kind of like where you want to go? Or divisionally where you're...
I don't know yet. We'll see.
Okay. Would you look to stay local or would you go elsewhere?
I think it depends the level.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
Local-ish.
Local-ish. Okay.
Yeah.
Anthony, what about you? Knowing that you have 2 years and not 4 at OCC, what does that do for you? How do you kind of tackle that?
Kind of drives you a little more. Like, you don't have 2 years here to develop and get better. You gotta work hard if you want to make an impact while you're here.
Do you have a thought of the future?
Yeah, I'm figuring it out.
Would you stay in the state of New York? Would
Yes.
you stay in the North? Okay, you would. Okay. Let's play some rapid fire with the gentleman here from OCC Lasers Baseball. We have Anthony Sawanec here with us, and we have Jesse DeMaintenon. So I said it right.
Yeah.
Look at that. So, all right, Anthony, we're going to do a round robin thing. So I'll go this way, and then we'll go back. So I will ask Anthony will ask Jesse will ask me, and then we'll go back around. So, Anthony, for you, if you were to jump into the world of a movie or a TV show, what world would you live in and why?
That's tough. What world?
Yeah.
There's a lot of crazy world. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think this one, the real one, is crazy. So,
Yeah.
which fictional world would you go?
Fictional world?
Yeah, movie or TV.
Movie or TV?
Yes, sir.
I'd go with Supernatural. Yeah.
Supernatural. Okay, why?
Because that's absurd. That's it'd be so crazy.
So, would you want to be fighting against the
Yeah,
craziness? Okay. All right. Now, what's your question for Jesse?
Jesse, I don't have to go with your go-to beverage.
Oh, man.
You want to take a drink of water, I guess?
Sour pink lemonade ghost, for sure.
Sour pink lemonade ghost.
Yes, I'm a big energy drink guy.
Okay.
Caffeine.
So I work with Monster and Reign.
Really?
Okay.
And I'm a big fan of the sour gummy worm Reign,
Yep.
as well as the new watermelon sour gummy, which is like, it's like the watermelon Sour Patch Kid
That
things.
sounds really good.
So those are very good. So I would say, have you had Reign?
Usually I'll do a rain before a game in season.
Okay.
But if it's just a casual energy drink, I'll do a Ghost.
I'll do a Ghost. Okay, fair enough. Jesse, what's your question for me?
What makes you do this show? Like, what's behind it all? Like, why? What's your why?
Or any school or any team or anything, I've always wanted to be the guy to say, let me show you the things that God shows me every day, and let me try and be a bridge to help you know that you're appreciated and respected and that you have value. I think at the end of my life, I would like to hope that people felt like they had value when they interacted with me. I would say that. So, thank you.
Yeah.
My question back to you, Jesse. So let's talk about value. I'm going to have two questions for you. They're totally different. I've never asked this one before. But if you were in a supermarket challenge and they gave you 15 minutes to run through Walmart or Target or one of those, what would be the things you'd put in your cart? If they're like, you didn't have to pay for any of it, they just said you got 15 minutes, grab what you want. What would you throw in your cart?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think. I don't know. I don't want to be that guy, but like grabbing gift cards so I could prolong the time that I had to think about what I need.
That's a very smart answer to say instead of taking stuff, I'll take gift cards so I continue to give myself things.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's smart.
Yeah, I think. I don't know.
Because you could take the whole rack of gift cards at that point and still have time. My second of value is beyond monetary and materialistic. What do you value the most in your life?
Definitely my family. I'm a big family guy. Yeah.
Who of your family would you consider to be like the biggest support when you say that?
All of them, really. We're super close with each other. If I had to choose, probably mom or dad, but every day mom and dad will text me, and then sister and brother will text you. And it's just always nonstop support from them, and yeah, my family.
That's awesome. Hold on to that. What do you have for Anthony? What's your question for him?
If you were to ever write a book, what would it be about?
I'd want to write a book about weightlifting.
Yeah.
Eating right, stuff like that.
Okay. Is that always a passion?
Yeah.
Is that your study?
Yeah, I'm here for physical education.
Okay. So what's the plan? What do you want to do?
I want to be a gym teacher. I want to pass down the love of sports and training for the next generation and see them grow.
Okay. And gym teachers typically coach, so will you be coaching? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's why. That's why.
All right. Anthony, what's your question for me?
So what did you do to get into the position you're in now? Like, did you go through schooling or?
Yeah. So I started writing. I've always had a big imagination, but I started writing on my dad's word processor, which is like a glorified typewriter. It had a little screen, so normally when you're typing you couldn't see anything, and this had a screen that you could, go back. And 5 years old, my dad, I'd wake up on a Saturday morning, he'd put it on the kitchen table, I'd climb up on the chair, and I'd just start typing out, creating stuff. That word processor sits in my office now to remind me how I got started, and my office is connected to my studio. So yeah, I've always been a storyteller, and then I went to school for digital media and broadcasting, but I studied screenwriting, I studied theater, the technical side of things. I was the person that's like, I'm not going to be the guy that's just on camera. I'm going to learn, how does the camera work? How does the lighting work? I created graphics that my teachers didn't know how to do in college. I created a ticker, like how you see on ESPN. I painted studios. I directed and produced. I created graphics, and I wanted to learn all of it so that I could be the one-man band and have value. And yeah, so I've had a passion for a long time. I love sports. I played sports, played basketball, played Little League Baseball, and I played a lot of pickup football. And so, I collected cards. I love that. I have a photographic memory. I love bringing people together. I love telling stories. I love that the sports world is where people kind of escape to find positivity in a world that's very negative at times. So it kind of all just came together, and I fell in love with it, and I worked at 3 ESPN affiliates. I worked at Fox Online. I worked at a Yahoo affiliate, and I started my company at 26 years old. I had 27 cents in my pocket. I had $103 in my bank account. I was taking care of my grandmother so she didn't have to live in a nursing home. And that was over 13 years ago. I've worked more for myself than I worked for ESPN, Yahoo, and Fox combined. And I've been broadcasting for over 22 years, and I genuinely feel the age of you both because I'm so passionate about what I do. Like, I actually feel like I'm literally walking out of college and, like, getting after it. So, yeah, I absolutely love it. And I love what OCC brings to the community and what the Lazers bring. So, I want nothing but the best for you guys. And you'll come to know that I want you to win. But if you don't, I'm the exact same person to you. So with that being said, for Jesse, for Anthony, for Bob, for the whole team, for all the Lazers inside of Bob's office, where I want to really take this OCC hat, Bob. But I like the big O here. I want to take that one because that's probably the coolest OCC hat that I've seen. But yeah, we got to commandeer one out of here before we leave. But with that being said, this has been the Lazer Lounge. I appreciate y'all, and thank you for the opportunity of watching and listening. Support your Lazers baseball program and all teams here at Onondaga Community College. And as we always say on Wake Up Call, God bless, no stress, do your best. We'll be back inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios right after this.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. Could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to Buffalo, they're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing, and so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. Everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and then those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's going to sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place. And I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Casanova, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays. From a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing, you go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Cas location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York, and they are open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. Of course, they're open all the time at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. New and used vehicles, the opportunity to buy or lease. You can check it all out at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Got some big news, and it came out late last night, but there's news on top of the news, so let's get into that news. Cayenne Anthony, following the game that Syracuse has this weekend, Saturday, February 21st, against the North Carolina Tar Heels, who are coming into town, he will be at an event, but not just any event. An event that is at one of my wonderful partners here at Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Following that game that the Syracuse Orange will have up against North Carolina. That game is Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. An event will start at 5 p.m. and go until 8:30 p.m. And during that event, Cayenne Anthony will make an appearance, and there will be raffles, giveaways, complimentary food and drinks, and a night you will never want to forget. It's presented by Topps, and this Topps Rip Night is happening at GG Cards and Breaks on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Very happy for this opportunity for GG Cards and Breaks. And I'm happy to say that I'll be a part of it, as I will be emceeing the night, the entire night, this Topps Rip Night on Saturday, February 21st in Syracuse, New York, my hometown, on 639 Delmar Place at GG Cards and Breaks. I will be your MC for the entire event, from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. There's so many amazing things that are going to be happening, and I'll be on site, on location, with Cayenne Anthony, who I've had the opportunity to speak with and spend time with, of course, in my coverage of Syracuse Orange athletics in general and the Syracuse Orange men's basketball team. I cannot wait to be with you in our community following the North Carolina game when Cayenne Anthony comes to GG Cards and Breaks. We look forward to seeing you out there. Get there early. You do not want to miss this event. And there's a lot of things that are happening that you got to be the first to. So make sure you get over there to the Topps Rip Night. Very excited about all of that. That's the big news. I'm looking for it. We had a powwow. The owner of GG Cards and Breaks, Josh Gideon, him and I were up until 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, just at the house, going through things and brainstorming at the kitchen table, which I love. Those are moments I'm never going to forget. So very, very, very excited. Cayenne Anthony, I know a lot of people love his story and are following him. Well, you need to follow him to GG Cards and Breaks for this Rip Night, and it's going to be awesome. And like I said, there's going to be different things going on. You want to get in line. You want to get there early, because I can't tell you the all of the things, but it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And like I said, we were brainstorming last night and putting this all together, and I can't wait. So it's going to be an amazing event. I'm so thankful to Tops. I'm thankful to GG Cards and Breaks, Josh Gideon, Anthony Campbell, everybody there for the opportunity to be a part of it and to be the MC of the event. So you know where to be this Saturday, February 21st. If you're going to the game, come after the game. If you're not going to the game, well, make sure you're coming out of your house and coming over to GG Cards and Breaks, 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. We're going to have a lot of great things happening all throughout the night, and we'll have a special guest appearance from Cayenne Anthony in this Tops Rip Night. So looking forward to that. With that being said, Rob Konrad's coming up in just a little bit here. I want to read his letter aloud that he sent. So there's a letter that I was talking about going into the broadcast here this morning, and I want you to hear it. I want you to get a feel for the strategic imperative in the selection of Syracuse University's next athletic director. That's what it's called. And this is the letter that he sent to the Syracuse University Board of Trustees. Dear members of the Syracuse University Board of Trustees, my name is Rob Konrad. I am the founder and managing partner of Alterna Equity Partners and have contributed significantly to Syracuse University over the years, including helping establish the Legend of 44 venue in the JMA Wireless Dome this fall. Given my background in football operations, corporate strategy, intellectual property, and media rights securitization, and my long-standing relationships across collegiate and professional athletics, I was surprised not to be included in the current advisory process for selecting Syracuse's next athletic director. Several individuals currently involved appear to lack domain expertise in these areas, which raises obvious concerns about the rigor and direction of the decision-making. My experience is directly relevant to this moment. Early in my career, the governor of Florida appointed me to chair the Investment Advisory Committee for the $282 billion Florida state pension system during the financial crisis. In that role, I led complex executive searches and oversaw major investment initiatives that contributed to top-tier fund performance in subsequent years. Today, my private equity work centers on corporate restructuring, strategic planning, and change management. These are precisely the capabilities required when an institution faces an inflection point. I am also a longtime member of the Young Presidents Organization in Florida and Palm Beach and serve on the Palm Beach Economic Development Council. More importantly, I am a longtime board member of Syracuse University's Falk College of Sport and Human Dynamics, Sports Management, and Analytics, and I was the last Syracuse player to wear 44. Needless to say, this program and this decision are deeply meaningful to me. The selection of Syracuse University's next athletic director is not a routine administrative decision. It is a strategic inflection point. College athletics is consolidating rapidly. Within the next several years, we're likely to see one or more super conferences comprising approximately 60 institutions that will define the highest competitive and commercial tier of collegiate sports. Syracuse is currently on the margin of that ecosystem. The trajectory from here will be determined in meaningful part by this appointment. The modern athletic department is no longer an amateur enterprise. It is a hybrid organization operating at the intersection of education, media, capital markets, and professional sports. It requires executive leadership capable of functioning as a CEO with demonstrated competencies across revenue generation, NIL, structuring and governance, brand monetization, media rights strategy, football and men's basketball operations, and organizational culture. Syracuse's historical conservatism at this pivot point has created a competitive lag. Meanwhile, peer institutions have accelerated their investment in professionalized leadership, NIL, capitalization, and strategic athletic infrastructure. The window to respond is narrowing. Importantly, Syracuse possesses one of the most accomplished alumni networks in the sporting world, including individuals with championship-level experience in professional leagues, deep expertise in management evaluation, and substantial capacity to support NIL and commercial initiatives. That intellectual and financial capital should be integrated meaningfully into the selection process. Leaders such as Scott Pioli, whose championship expertise and recent advisory roles with major universities reflect the professionalization now underway, represent the type of expertise that should inform this decision. The fusion of collegiate athletics with professional operational models is not theoretical, it is the present reality. Nick Carparelli's background aligns with this framework. As executive director of bowl season, a senior conference executive overseeing football governance and television strategy, and a national marketing leader at Under Armour, he has operated within the sport's primary economic drivers. I have known Nick for nearly 25 years. He bleeds orange, and I have worked with him on the Falk board for many years. He is the recommendation of multiple longtime domain experts in sports business who have been part of Syracuse for decades. I am also aware that a meaningful portion of NIL-related giving is contingent on stakeholder confidence in the athletic director appointment. Seeking the wrong leader risks immediate donor disengagement, a contraction in NIL capitalization, erosion of competitive relevance, and continued brand deterioration in what was once one of the most respected athletic programs in the country. Accordingly, this search requires a broadened advisory lens, including evaluators with direct experience in sports business, media rights, and capital formation, evaluators experienced in hiring and assessing top-tier executive management, a rigorous review of each candidate's strategic plan, with particular scrutiny of football and men's basketball operations, clear articulation of NIL capitalization strategy, donor engagement and governance, a defined roadmap for media rights optimization, and long-term conference positioning. There is still time, but the margin for error is thin. This is a moment to think wider, leverage the expertise that exists within the Syracuse community, and select a leader prepared to operate in today's commercialized collegiate environment, not yesterday's. I would welcome the opportunity to contribute in an advisory capacity and to help ensure the board has access to the most relevant domain expertise as it evaluates candidates and strategic plans. The stakes are real and the consequences will be enduring. Respectfully, Robert Konrad. So that's the letter that he wrote to the Syracuse University Board of Trustees. He's joining me in just about 5 minutes, and we're going to be discussing this. We're going to be breaking this down and getting his thoughts and why he felt the need to do this and to, mention certain people, to mention certain things, and to essentially break it all down. What was the reasoning behind why he wanted to do this? Why is he so passionate about it? And what would he like to do? As you heard him kind of talk about, being in an advisory role. So, what does that mean for him? What does it mean for Syracuse University as they step forward? And, the focus on football and basketball. And you've heard Murph and I talk about just yesterday the fact that we could be going toward a dissolving of everything that we know and have around 60 schools go into this new league that I think the SEC and the Big Ten are running, and we'll see what that looks like. You don't want to be on the other side of it. If that's going to be the highest tier of basketball and football, you definitely don't want to be left out, especially with Syracuse has had so many wonderful moments in basketball and football in their history. We'll take a step aside for a fast break. When we come back, Rob Konrad here with us to talk about that letter and more in the search of the new leader of Syracuse University Athletics here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. Stay with us.
And your dog can see everything that Canine Camp Dog Daycare has to offer. Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Brian and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Brian and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Brian's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Brian's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So K9 Camp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. K9 Camp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that K9 Camp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making K9 Camp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily? Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myavicollis.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to k9campground.com as well. That's K9 ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. Canine Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose Canine Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily?
If you need any clarification on details or a quick breakdown of something specific...
Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios. Great Lakes Honda City coming to you on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Open for sales and service Monday through Saturday. Make your way over there. Let them know the DT sent you. And, of course, you can go to GreatLakesHondaCity.com. And so as we are here this morning on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, it's always an honor and a privilege to have Rob Konrad here with us on the broadcast. He's been here many times, and this may be the most crucial time to have Rob Konrad here, the last to wear number 44, Orange and NFL football alum, and of course at that fullback position, speaking on the search for Syracuse University's next athletic director. Mr. Konrad, how are we doing?
Dan, how are you, buddy? Hopefully you can hear me okay.
Yeah, I can hear you fine, and appreciate you being here. Before the break, I was reading through the letter that you sent to the Syracuse University Board of Trustees entitled "The Strategic Imperative in the Selection of Syracuse University's Next Athletic Director." What was it that made you want to do this? What kind of provoked you to say, I can't just simply have a couple phone calls, I need to send a letter?
The catalyst for this was twofold, I'll share a story now that John is stepping away and we've talked about, but two things have happened. In the past, there's been a situation where I wanted to, when NIL came out, I knew it was a game changer. I just knew you went from like a communist system to a capitalist system, and there was going to be this like transition that was going to be a mess. But within that mess, there'd be opportunity, especially for a school like Syracuse. Approached the AD's office and said, "Look, I will seed this fund." John Wallace and I at the time had agreed to work with some of the advancement team for athletics to go around and win hearts and minds and hopes and dreams of what Syracuse used to be and where we can get to, and go raise a bunch of money for the athletic department to be used for NIL for both basketball and football, and to fill those gaps. I think I might even get Derek Coleman interested in it the other night. That's a big maybe right now, but I'm gonna take the positive end of that. But my point being, I mean, there's got a lot of guys that care a lot about what this place was to them from a football program standpoint. I'm one of them, and I just had been back on campus and really kind of trying to cement the legacy of some of the guys that were my mentors, and obviously Jim Brown, and Floyd Little, and Ernie Davis, and when you think about that, and knowing Larry Zonka from down here in Miami, and just a great tradition of that school, that we're at the catalyst. And when I say catalyst, and I think I use a term existential threat to the program. This came about from a conversation I had with the chancellor, and we spent quite a bit of time on going through what has changed, what have we fallen behind on, what have we done a good job with, and what do we need going forward? Because this is a different animal. You're not talking about amateur athletics anymore. You're really talking about a hybrid, academic institution, but it's a company. At the end of the day, and you're out there competing with your product. And I'm not gonna say I like it or I don't like it. But it is what it is. You have to go to the war with the army that you had. So the conversation was, what was important, what was important that is now in the sunlight, okay, from a recruiting standpoint. And then with the revenues and gaming and everything else coming in, you now have this whole new talent acquisition function that really has been like an NFL function in the past, and it's really a hybrid structure between academia and a pro football team, and they're very, very different. So that was a catalyst. Worked for some time, met several occasions, look, we weren't getting it done. Unfortunately, currently, and I love John Wildhack as a person. He's a great man. He's probably given more than he's probably received, from being the athletic director. And he's a wonderful guy. But when things change dynamically, and we had an opportunity to at least keep our footing and/or be the way we wanted to attack it, was to go out there and utilize it as an advantage for Syracuse with its alumni base. And we sat in our hands for 3 years. And with the exception of myself and a few other folks, we would have no NIL at the school. So those two things together, and I think a lot of my, I sit in the Fox School business at Syracuse. Very close with a lot of alumni, especially in Newhouse and in Syracuse, and we've been having conversations about what does this look like. There's going to be consolidation soon. Is it 2 years from now? Is it 5 years from now? It's going to be soon. And if you're not in that 60 team, group, I hate picking on Colgate. And Colgate's a great school, but from an athletic standpoint, Syracuse is going to become Colgate, and I'm not really sure there's going to be a path out of it. So I think it's extremely. When you look back at getting rid of Jake, bringing in Dale Rose, Coyle, and then John, who did stabilize things a bit. There couldn't be probably a worse run of pick of ADs. I'd like to see a poll on that, but it's put us decades in the arrears, and I think a lot of us are saying, look, if we don't fix this now, we don't get this right, especially the operational and financial component of it, we're not going to be here in 5 years. So the program's just not going to, the program of Brown and Little and Zonka and everybody else will be really just, I think a thing of the, of the past that will be competing on a much lower level. And it doesn't have to be that way. I think a lot of us see a very clear path. I have a lot of frustration with the Board of Trustees and the way things are handled from a voting standpoint. I think that's common amongst probably anybody who has ever dealt with the Board of Trustees. But when you see the selection committee and those that are going to be deciding on this position, two things occur to me. Virtually none of them have a domain expertise in the skill set and/or even hiring executives, interviewing executives, reviewing strategic plans, any of that. And then there's that's the kind of the main component of it. But then you have on the outside in, if you're going to go that route and you have to go the PC route, which is fine. Like Roxy McNabb's on there. I love Roxy. My QB's bride, but it's at what point does a Scott Pioli come and offer his services? In my mind, arguably, the Hall of Fame, one of the better, if not the best GM during my time frame, Syracuse guy, has offered his help, and has got no response. What would that purpose be? if I'm Steve Ballantyne and I'm running this process, do you not want to surround yourself, even if it's not with board members, it's with people that care a lot about Syracuse, that are domain experts that just want to offer their assistance, a lot of times offer their money and their time. And there's been a lot of concern and there's been a lot of frustration in the past and current, with the unknown situation right now, that's going to again be the case. And I think the athletic department, certainly the football program, needs all these things I'm talking about, and we need to execute them well. And that's going to take a ton of change management, and that's a difficult thing to do. And if you don't have the right people in there, it's just going to be a tall order. So, anyways, the purpose of my, that was kind of an outcome of conversations and some work that we did, done with the university itself. But I don't think there's agreement amongst the board whether this should just be administration position within the school, or if we're talking about a dynamic, change maker of an operator that's going to go out there and get this done. So it'll be interesting. The other thing I would say is just the people making the decisions, and you look at, frankly, they're, all good people, and all, give a lot, they have quite a bit of their, time and treasure to the university. But at what point do we sit down and say, maybe we should have some other people making this decision? Because there have been some terrible decisions that set this place back by decades, and they're the same people who are making the decision today.
Well, and you said a lot in there, and I appreciate that. And you discuss kind of what you need now in today's athletic climate in college. And I talk about this all the time. I spoke about this yesterday, and you said it in the letter to the Board of Trustees at Syracuse University. We're in this hybrid state. It's amateurism and it's professionalism that's like functioning together, which it can't. You cannot sustain yourself where the NFL has free agency and there's a time period for free agency, and there's no free agency during the postseason. You can't switch around your teams there. NIL has little to no parameters. They weren't supposed to be used together. You were supposed to transfer. Then NIL could come in once you signed with your new school. Now they're using NIL to coerce you into the transfer portal, and then, going from there, which is not the legal way from how they explained it to do something of this matter. And, we're in a position right now where, and I've said it before in a letter that I wrote about the NCAA a couple of years ago, I said, if we don't start putting a fence around the barn, we're going to be chasing the horses every night. So being in this hybrid nature, Rob, how do we move forward? How does Syracuse University move forward when the NCAA has not specifically let us know how to marry professionalism and amateurism and really where they're heading?
Yeah, there's been some guidance, I think, and the way I would think about it is you have a 501c3 not-for-profit entity, right? So, the Clinton Foundation, all right? But there's going to be a management company that's going to be offering the services. They are going to be, handling the P&L, accounts receivables, accounts payable. That management company is going to be doing whatever it needs to be doing within, NIL, whether it's underwriting or fundraising or what have you. But these structures exist out there, and you almost have to drop a subsidiary off the main main entity, and because they do have they're aligned, but they're somewhat not aligned. Right, they have aligned interests in the revenue that can be produced for the school. They're aligned with probably the most important thing is the advertising and the branding that the school receives from being an elite sports institution. But that you can't run them the same way. You can't run them based upon. You have to compete. You have to be on the leading edge. You have to lean forward. You have to, you're now in a purely capitalist society where it's very different than let's take, be very conservative and take, we're not rewarded for taking a lot of risk as an administrator at a school, right? That's just traditional. You are specifically rewarded to take calculated risks, execute, plan, put systems in place, and on a competitive football field or basketball court, frankly. So there's I think that to some degree they're aligned, to some degree they're not, and that needs to be. I mean, that's one of the things that the board's going to have to figure out. And again, it's a little frustrating with Scott Pioli offered up his services, never heard back, went down and worked with Virginia this year. He's a Syracuse guy. Like he would help out for free. I would help out for free. We just have such a great sports alumni group at Syracuse, and part of this was with me for the the letter was I wanted to make sure that the board heard from me, and the work that was done previously that was well thought out and a good deal of work. Kind of what the that there is really a risk, and I think you understand. I'm not being alarmist about this situation. It's coming, and that they need to start thinking about a different structure than they have for a lot of the board members have been around for a long time. This has been a pivot point in history. Things are moving fast, and they if they want to be competitive, if that's really what they care about, they got to think hard about who's making this decision and how they want to structure it and advance with it. So it's happening quick right now. I mean the process will take some time, but there's a lot going on as we speak, and so hopefully we end up in the right place and with the right structure and the right person, and you'll have a lot of excited Syracuse fans. We just hope that's a different process than the last few that have taken place.
Yeah, when you look at that process that when you spoke on finding an athletic director to lead Syracuse University forward, you talked about a string of terrible decisions. What do they have to do differently now? What are the things? I know you have some things in your letter, but to this board of trustees, as they sit and they look to make a decision, what are you hoping are the foundational pieces? When we look at the structure of Syracuse athletics moving forward, let's build the house. What are the pillars that this board of trustees has to have in order to sustain athletics at a high level at Syracuse?
I'll kind of use an analogy, and it's probably not a great one, but it's you have your nation states and then you have your armies, right? And it's at the end of the day, what are those nation states going to provide from a resource standpoint? Is it important to them? Is it not important to them? Is it 3% of GDP important to them, or is it 20% of GDP important to them? The commitment has to be there, and it's not even necessarily financial. I think there's a situation they make the right choice that will will rally folks. We'll go raise money. And I know the money part won't necessarily be a part of it, but the commitment as far as the structure, you can't have some bifurcated structure with a workaround. You need a linear organizational structure, a strategic plan, redundancy. All of the things that all institutions and operations run, all great NFL teams that are that detailed and think through talent acquisition, talent development, coaching. At the end of the day, building redundancy for backup players, redundancy for the right coaches, having the ability to recruit all those people. There's a lot that goes into it, but I think it starts with commitment. It's going to be this is new, so it's like being open-minded with the structure and really leaning towards more of a corporate competitive structure. Because on top of everything else, I think Syracuse has the opportunity to win there a bit. They can get ahead of schools, I think, with if they structure things the right way with the alumni base, and we just got to make people believe again that it can be the way it was, and we had a bunch of fun. So, and to be frank, I talk to Coach Frank quite often. I believe it, but he needs resources, and this decision needs to be the right one, the right one for him to support the things that he's doing. And so, anyways, it's something that's been important to a lot of us, and important to me, and so we wanted to make sure that we collectively, and by the way, the feedback I've gotten from everybody on the board is basically agreed with conceptually the assertions made in the paper. Now, easier said than done, but that's a good start, I think.
Yeah, and you mentioned the term strategic plan, and I was the only media member that was allowed in the office of the athletic director, Bob Beretta, at Lemoyne College at the time when they were shifting from NCAA Division II to Division I. So that was, I remember he pointed and he said, "That's the binder right there, sitting on the desk. That's our strategic plan." So bring me into what this strategic plan needs to have for Syracuse University athletics, because it is imperative. But so many people say the term strategic plan, but a lot of people have no idea what this means, what it breaks down, what it has to have, the components that will move you forward. So I'd love to get that from somebody who runs a business.
Yeah, I'll try to break it down as much as we can, and I'm not going to say that I'm the absolute expert on what this might end up looking like. But at the end of the day, if you're going to have an efficient operation, I think the goal of Syracuse could be to maximize its resources, okay, and then get the most productivity out of those resources that we can have for all, and that benefits all stakeholders. So as it relates to this strategic plan, first things first is you got to get the big picture right. You got to get your ultimate goal that says, look, this is our North Star. This is where we want to get to. Okay, is that winning a national championship? Is that winning the ACC? Right now, for me, is being alive in a couple of years when there's consolidation in the conferences. Okay, and then underneath that, there's pillars. There's just fundamentals. We don't lie, steal, and cheat. We at the end of the day, we're gonna build out a front office function for player talent, because it's just such a different animal today than it was in the past. That needs to be professionalized. Like, again, the Scott Pioli, those sorts of guys that can just lay out scouting, short-term scouting systems where you're not recruiting kids out of high school anymore, rating systems, and then just having the people that have done that before, and then on top of it, with the players, the expectations. There's a lot that goes into this. I think even from Frank's standpoint, it's building fundamentally the right type of offense and defense to match the players he has, and have the coaches underneath them, and like a backup quarterback. So it's about redundancy. It's about overall goal mission. It's about working towards goals by reporting on KPIs on a regular basis, players, coaches, and it's just an efficient way that most professional teams stay on top and operate in the fashion where they're looking to win and maximize revenue. Look, you can have the most revenue and be the Dallas Cowboys and have their record, and vice versa. Money is not necessarily the determining factor. Being able to focus and execute is the determining factor. Ideas are easy. Anybody can give $100 million in NIL and get 70 new people in and hire the best NFL coach of all time, and of course they were going to rule the ACC. The reality is you have to play the game. There's a lot of things from an efficiency standpoint that we're able to do, but it takes money, resources. That is now the business function of this department. that's got to somehow align and meld with the academic component of it. If they make a lot of money, it should be easy.
Yeah. Well, and you said it's not all about the money. It's not just money. Some people look at this and say, whoever's got the biggest treasure troughs are the ones that are going to win this thing. How does Syracuse win the day beyond the money? To kind of expound on what you just were speaking about.
Yeah. Well, look, I don't think Syracuse has done a very good job of raising money. Just to be honest with you, I mean. That might be overcritical because I don't know what all the advancement people do on a regular basis, but on the athletic side, there's John Lally and some terrific people. My old quarterback Don McNabb made a very nice donation. Mine was less functional, but aesthetically pleasing in the dome. But the all that being said, from Syracuse isn't a place that you're necessarily going to win on money. We can improve. We can incrementally improve that process. I know that. And I know with the right AD, there's going to be coordination and, amongst that whole strategic plan, and that includes alumni. You do not turn down people like Pioli or myself or people that want to give their time, treasure, effort, and to benefit the university. You take every single one of those, John Walsh, take every single one of those people that you can. They're evangelists for the schools and the program. They're not costing you anything. They're bringing value, a value proposition to you, and that for some reason has been from a lot of whatever it has been. It has not been active where you see a lot of other institutions where that's the case, and you have people willing to do it. Anyways, there's a lot of things that can get done. I just think if we end up hiring another, Power 5 or AD from that doesn't have any kind of business market sense to have to compete in that capacity, I just think it's going to be tough. You're going to have to figure out a different structure that's going to work, because it's going to be you're going to have two bosses and likely two differing goals, which is never a good thing when you're trying to accomplish a goal of any kind.
Well, and in this process of finding the new athletic director at Syracuse University here with Rob Konrad, the last to wear 44 at Syracuse for the football program, a fullback alum, not only with the Orange but in the NFL, and was spoiled to have Donovan McNabb on to Dan Marino. And as we're here with Rob Konrad on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, a chancellor change with Kent Syverud, an athletic director change with John Wildhack. With these happening at the same time, with us having the opportunity of not just new leadership in athletics, but new leadership for Syracuse University overall, how can that be a beneficial time? How can this paralleling of leadership vacancies actually help Syracuse?
Over the last 5 years, I've really grown to appreciate Kent, the chancellor, and I think the university is certainly going to miss him. I watched him grow. At least and athletics are quite important to me, but have a growing understanding of the importance of athletics to the university, and be willing to be self-reflective of things that we've done, that we haven't done, what we should be doing. And I wish he was still around. I know that the decision with John was going to be, let's say, I think it was originally supposed to be made by a new chancellor, which is not in place right now, and who might have an excitable or more activist sort of board possibly right now looking to fill this gap. Not sure why that is, and it might just be from the timing and need to fill a gap, and or not knowing how long it's going to take to procure the right chancellor. But the process is moving. Look, like I said before, John was a terrific guy, and I spoke with him, thanked him when he had resigned. I think him and I, maybe some other folks, and just from his background, just differed from some of the business terms as it relates to what adds value to the program at the end of the day. And look, we're all none of us are perfect in our endeavor, and no one sees things the same way. John and I both share deep passion for Syracuse, and we recognize that and care about each other. But I think it's an opportunity to get a guy that is forward leaning with what's going on, economically and business wise, and give Syracuse a chance to to be in the upper ranks of football again.
Yeah, and with that vacancy at Chancellor for Syracuse, does that work positively or negatively? Because the Chancellor's overseeing everything, right? And then the athletic director is underneath that. So do you almost have to align in a sense of like hiring a head coach and a general manager? Do you feel like there's a package deal out there, or there's an opportunity where they can bring somebody in to lead athletics from a CEO standpoint, that they can also find somebody that's going to lead them from a chancellor standpoint that understands the state of athletics? Do you feel like there can be a package deal of sort?
Yeah. I'll be fair. I am not sure I know all of the candidates at this point in time. I know several of them fairly well, and two of them I've known for nearly 30 years. I think I wrote about Nick in the letter, and a lot of the things we've been talking about things for seven years or so. Just things about that we would want to change if we ever had the opportunity, and very much are on the same page with things that I had laid out in the letter. The other is Reggie Terry, who was an old player here. He was here when I was getting recruited, and just one of the best human beings I've ever met. And he's really, I would put him more on the administrator front than sales and business and being dynamic in that component. As although I'm sure he can do some of those things, but you get the two of those guys come in, one to lead the charge and ramp this thing, and you have a guy that and they're both Syracuse guys, and then you have Reggie who adores this school. I know it pains him. He's at BC right now when he has to come back to the Dome for games, but he's very, very well thought of as well. And I think I don't know if you can afford the two of them, but for me, a match made in heaven would be those two guys. All that being said, I'm not involved in the process, and I don't know the other candidates. So, but from those I do know, those two guys are sit at the very top of the list. Are Syracuse guys that will be there. This will not be a stepping stone, and you kind of have to want to be in Syracuse, right? As I'm sitting here in Palm Beach, Florida. It's there's got to be a reason, and a lot of us have that reason. My daughter's got that reason right now, but it's you got to have people that want to be there and are going to be there for a long time. You're not going to have an AD after 2 years that is running for the door because he can't handle the lake effects, snow, or whatever that might be. So,
well, and you mentioned Reggie Terry, and I want to give some background on Reggie. He's a native of Hempstead, New York, and so the state of New York itself. Graduated from Syracuse in '93, had degrees in both history and education, a two-time Big East Conference academic all-star. He also earned the Hitachi Promise of Tomorrow Scholarship, received his master's degree in '94 in education, and his CAS in education leadership in 1999, and then worked on a PhD in higher education at Syracuse. He was a linebacker at Syracuse from 1989 to '93, and was part of the school's bowl game victories in 93 in the Fiesta Bowl, 92 in the Hall of Fame Bowl, 1990 in the Aloha Bowl, and 1989 in the Peach Bowl. And those Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl are obviously two of the bowl games that are now inside of the six that are in the college football playoff rotator for the quarterfinal and semifinal. So good to have him with that history. Now, prior to joining Syracuse football program back again in 2000 when he came back second time, he worked as a grad assistant and an administrative supervisor in the Orange athletic department from 93 to 99. So he played, then he was working as a grad assistant and administrative supervisor with Syracuse. He worked as an intern with the New York Jets.
He coached with Arizona for. I'm sorry. He had the position with the Arizona Cardinals for a bit of time, which I think is really meaningful for all the reasons we just talked about.
Yeah. And so, I mean, with the New York Jets football operations department in 97, and then interned with the NFL's Management Council in 1998. When he was at Syracuse, he helped organize bowl trips for the 2004 Champs Sports Bowl, representing the Big East Conference's co-champions, as well as the 2001 Insight.com Bowl. He joined the Syracuse staff in 2000 and remained with the university until 2007. So he has been back at Syracuse in the 21st century. And when he joined in 2000, he was the director of football operations and player development, stayed in that position until he was elevated to associate director of athletics for football operations in 2006. He was responsible for day-to-day operations of the football program, team travel, the team's compliance with NCAA academic requirements, coordination of pro days, youth clinics and camps, and an agent education program. So all of those things play into what we're talking about. And then as you talked about
one of the things that they've been talking about, having a structure with a CEO and a COO, and whether it's an AD or whatever they do from that standpoint, and you nailed it. You're talking about two people that I can tell you are just two absolutely wonderful people. Reggie is you've been around him, just a special man. He's done the job. He is absolutely terrific. If we ended up with him, I would be thrilled. I would love that. Nick on the flip side, same thing. But there's an understanding of the competitive, capitalist dynamic to the game now. And I've known, because I've been talking to him about it for many years, and just has a lot of those relationships from a sponsorship standpoint. Obviously, has dealt with IP and media rights for many years. It's Nick. It's interesting. Nick was his middle school gym teacher was Paul Pasqualoni.
Yeah.
At Cheshire High, and knows Steve Adazio and Fran, and there's a tie and a bit of a bond there. So for me, and not taking away from any of the other candidates that I'm not aware of and or have underwritten, but those two guys, they should have been hired 10 years ago. So I really hope they get a good look this time around.
Yeah, and going off of Reggie into Nick Carparelli, who I had the opportunity to have on the show during bowl season just a couple months back as we headed into everything. He is the executive director of the entire bowl season, Coca-Cola Bowl season. Appointment announced in December of 2019, widely respected in college football. He brought 3 decades at the time when he was appointed there, so 3 decades plus now, of senior leadership in athletics, proven success in university athletic departments, bowl administration, a conference office, a professional sports franchise, and a major athletic apparel brands. I want to go to what you said in the letter that you wrote.
I'll just add to that real quick. He also worked with Pioli and the Patriots. So he's also has some additional NFL operative information. But anyway, sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, you're good. And when you talk about how he aligns with the framework, you wrote in your letter to the Board of Trustees, and I quote from Rob Konrad, as executive director of bowl season, speaking of Nick Carparelli, a senior conference executive overseeing football governance and television strategy, and a national marketing leader at Under Armour, he has operated within the sport's primary economic drivers. I have known Nick for nearly 25 years. He bleeds orange, and I've worked with him on the Falk board for many years. He is the recommendation of multiple longtime domain experts in sports business who have been part of Syracuse for decades. I would love to get your thoughts deeper on Nick Carparelli, who I crossed paths with just a few months ago.
Yeah, so I mean, look, Nick is well known to many people. Had some conversations with a couple of the top announcers that are alumni out of Syracuse and the Falk board, where we have a ton of operators that are involved in all sorts of different businesses who know Nick. Board members. It's been, I wanted to make the point that, look, Nick is, I think, the guy. I don't know who else is involved because I'm not involved, but I wanted to make sure that the things that I've talked to Nick about, and I know that are important to him. I've talked to the chancellor about, and I know he was important to him, and he was frustrated with the lack of change. Nick, for me, fits a couple things. Can I trust you, and do you care? Always two questions I'm asking if I'm hiring anybody. Can I trust you, and do you care? Because you can't do a good deal with a bad person. Nick is a terrific guy, knows everybody. He's been part of the Syracuse community for years. He's known throughout the sporting world. And I'll share this. There's a lot of the current NIL capital that is backing him, and I think there might, I don't want to overstate this, but there's depending on who is picked, that's a people have to kind of have a choice with what they're going to do there. So not entirely sure how that's going to play out, but yeah, Nick across the board has made a positive impression on everybody. Now I don't know if they're bringing in. I think they're bringing in possibly the AD from Boise State. I think that I've heard good things about. I would love to sit in the room, be able to go through a traditional committee search and ask those questions. But there very well might be some people that are interested, are quite capable and interested. The one thing I will say though, and if we've learned anything from the coaches and ADs, is they better love Syracuse for some reason. They better have a reason to be here. If they either went to school here or they grew up here or whatever it is, because if not, it's going to be a stepping stone and a wasted opportunity. I think Syracuse right now needs a little bit of a longer term plan.
Yeah, and I think Syracuse saw that with Mark Coyle, who was here for about 15 minutes, and eventually went to Minnesota, which seemingly was where he wanted to be. I want to go back to Nick Carparelli for a second here because I want to go off of some points you made. Senior Associate Commissioner for the Big East Conference, the conference that Syracuse helped originate, served as the conference's primary football administrator, overseeing operations, officiating, bowl relationships, television, and scheduling. He served as the Big East liaison with IMG Sports, the league's sponsorship and marketing partner. He chaired the NCAA Football Issues Committee, its postseason bowl licensing subcommittee, and served as a member of the NCAA Rules Committee. While at the Big East, his annual work with the conference football schedule construction contributed to some of the highest-rated telecasts in college football history. He also led the charge in the creation of the New Era Pinstripe Bowl at Yankee Stadium, which Syracuse played in the first few of those, and the first ever Pinstripe Bowl, and the establishment of the St. Petersburg Bowl, now in Tampa, Florida. And as you mentioned, he was the director of operations for the New England Patriots during the team's first NFL championship season. And with that, he worked with legendary head coach Bill Belichick and coordinated team travel, directed the club's summer training camp, managed player personnel, and supervised game day operations. He also coordinated all aspects of the New England Patriots' participation in their first ever NFL championship. So to that point, you say there's got to be somebody that loves Syracuse. Either they went to Syracuse or they are from the area. Well, this is a guy who not only has Syracuse ties, he has Big East ties, regional ties, Northeast ties, and a massive tie to the development and expansion of the product of college football all over the country.
And what was very close with Coach Mack is very close with Coach P. That means something to me just because of the history of the game and what those two made. And so I love that. I love that there's that fact and that that those conversations take place. Paul is extremely supportive of having him involved, and I think you look at from 1998, and it's I think right about the time from a board of trustees standpoint there was a change, but getting rid of Paul and what we did with consecutive ADs, I mean, it's I know you guys have felt it too, but it's you want to leave a place better than when you found it and you feel like you did it. And then you have these just absurd changes that are made that just sent us into the bottom trough of the football world. And you got a bunch of people that want to bring it back. I think we can. So
I want to hit a couple points before we let you go. Rob Konrad here with me on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios. You mentioned this guy's name, this gentleman's name, a bunch of times here this morning. And so I want to give a little background on a name that you mentioned. Over 25 years as an NFL general manager, as well as serving as vice president, a 3-time champion in the NFL, a 5-time NFL Executive of the Year, a consultant and a speaker, and a Boston Legacy FC investor, Scott Pioli. Your thoughts on why his name should be a part of all of this, and why I know you want to be a part of finding the right candidate and the right person to lead athletics at Syracuse University, the essence of Scott Pioli and what he brings to the table, why he is a good advisor.
But listen, Scott, I mean, I put like Dan Marino on top of the world of someone who can throw a football. I've gotten to know Scott well. He's my neighbor in Nantucket, and he is, just a wonderful human being. His father-in-law is Bill Parcells, which is always interesting to hear those stories. But you just think about what he has accomplished and what he has structured, and you talk about that, developing and executing on that strategic plan. That's what wins in business and in life and in sports, right? And he has proven time and time again that he can do it at the very highest levels. Do I think he would take the AD the spot at Syracuse? No, I think he's happily hanging out in Nantucket and some other places. All that being said, he did come back this year, did something with Falk and the Newhouse, and we were talking, and let's just say there was an offer to assist, as I've offered to assist in this change management, because we've seen it. He's really seen it, and spent a few months and help out. Never got a return phone call. Ended up at Virginia, and Virginia, I don't know, had a pretty good season from what I understand. And so I don't understand. I just don't understand how the board thinks about those sorts of things. Like, you have your domain experts that want to work for free, that are committed to your cause. Why are you not taking that help, or at least listening, or getting feedback from these people? And so part of it, look, it's a bureaucracy. I ran a massive bureaucracy with the Florida pension system, so I get it. But at the same point, it conflicts with trying to compete in sports, and so we got to figure out how to hopefully make better decisions, or and have I would love to have some people on there that would know how to ask the right questions. I'm not sure. With the exception of Mike Tirico, I talked to yesterday, and he's obviously quite sharp. But again, he's like John. He's a media a guy from ESPN, and I don't, probably has never hired or fired anybody. Never really had to get involved in organization, planning, structure, execution, things of that nature. He's just a super talented guy and an awesome guy. But there's just not that deep, domain expertise that's in the room. So I don't know how we expect to, ask the right questions and make the right hire. I think they basically took like a 50 of us that all, want to, help and contribute. And I think we're all going to be stuck on the Zoom call later to get the lowdown with the candidates. So we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, you said that in your letter to the Board of Trustees, the search for the next athletic director requires these pieces: a broad and advisory lens, including evaluators with direct expertise in sports business, media rights, and capital formation, evaluators experienced in hiring and assessing top-tier executive management, a rigorous review of each candidate's strategic plan with particular scrutiny of football and men's basketball operations, clear articulation of NIL capitalization strategy, donor engagement, and governance, a defined roadmap for media rights optimization and long-term conference positioning. You've also said the word domain a lot, so bring that all together.
When you say the term domain, it's as far as the particular expertise for the individual. Do me one favor. Please ask that question one more time. I was looking at the email relative to this situation as you were talking to me. Sorry about that. Good.
No, you're good.
Fire away.
No, I know things are happening instantaneously. So when you talked about the search for the new athletic director, you said a broad and advisory lens, including evaluators with direct expertise in sports business, media rights, and capital formation. Also has to have in the search evaluators experienced in hiring and assessing top-tier executive management, a rigorous review of each candidate's strategic plan with particular scrutiny of football and men's basketball operations, clear articulation of NIL capitalization strategy, donor engagement, and governance, and a defined roadmap for media rights optimization and long-term conference positioning. Why are all of these requirements? Kind of bring them all together with the word domain that you've been using.
Yeah, so there's folks that look, when you're a business, everybody, and you've got 500 employees, whose job it is to sell. It's everybody's job to sell. Okay, it's everybody's responsibility to go out and spread the gospel of the organization and go raise capital. Okay, there's not incentive to do that in academia. And so when I say a wider vision, it can't be the person that was at North Carolina or at Pitt and was an AD previously, and they were an AD wonderfully over the last decade, because that skill set matters a lot less than it did before, and quite frankly could be conflict with what needs to take place now. There's not a lot of ADs that I've certainly not at our place, but that from have an understanding of building organizations, systems, processes, and really have been dynamic. I know Daryl tried to make Syracuse the New York City football team or something along those lines, but really have a branding and a thesis that you can lean on. And that's the last part of it. Is I look at this as almost like we are going to outside people and saying, we're trying to get something done. We're putting our own money into this. Okay, there's this guy that we believe in. He believes in all the things that we do. Our investment thesis is we're going to do all the things I have listed. Okay, in order to do that, we need resources, and we want to get back to Syracuse. We want to get back to where Syracuse used to be. And we want to make sure Syracuse is there, for our kids, and that they're going to still be a major university. And so we need that clear, defined investment thesis that at the end of the day, one of our alumni is going to say, you know what, that's important to me too. I want to participate in that. Those are a lot of different skill sets to have, right? Yeah. That's like, for me, that's like one of the best CEOs that you ever hire. It's typically chopped up into a couple pieces, but for me, it's that second half of it that's going to matter. The administration part of it is great and it's needed, but if we're going to get to the point where we're going to comfortably be in the top 60 to 60, it's the other component that we have to be efficient. We have to, be able to execute, and we have to be able to raise capital. And those things have not been planned well or even allowed in the past few years. So those things need to change.
And a final note, and you played right into it, you talked about the top 60. And it's something that I addressed years ago. I said, in my opinion, many years ago, I spoke with John Swafford, commissioner of the ACC at the time, and I said, you, as 5 conferences, chose the word autonomy. Well, autonomy means self-governing. It's a legislative term, and you don't choose that term lightly, and obviously you chose it for a reason. Is there a time where we could see these conferences go and form their own? And he said to me many years ago when we were sitting in Brooklyn at the ACC tournament, he said, it's not that we haven't spoken about it. It's not that it's not on the table, just not right now. And then a bunch of years pass, COVID hits, and I start talking about the SEC is going to go form its own league. The Big Ten makes a move to take 4 schools on the West Coast. When you look at the Big Ten and the SEC, they have all of America outside of the sliver of the Utah and Nevada and places that haven't vied for national championships in college football. So you see that. And then if you couple together the rest of the autonomy group, which doesn't have the PAC anymore, but has the Big 12 and the ACC, that's comprising this 60 that we're talking about. So I have predicted along the years what could happen. Now you're saying this is a very, very real thing, that there's going to be 60 institutions that are going to be in the highest form of athletics in college, and everybody else is going to be put out to pasture to find their own way.
There are, I know of 3 teams right now talking to very substantial PE firms about raising enough capital to buy themselves out of their relative leagues. The financing that's coming into this league with the gaming and the revenues have changed things mightily. I will add this: I think Syracuse in New York and tri-state market is one of their saviors, right? And hopefully that we can maximize upon that. But yeah, I mean it's certainly interesting. But the problem is when that realignment happens, you're in or out, and you're just not going to be able to compete economically. It's like every war is based in economics, right? And at the end of the day, every football program, at the end of one of my best buddies is a head coach of Ohio State, right? Unlimited funds, and doesn't mean you're going to win it all every time, but it's you get some pretty nice weapons to be able to utilize on a regular basis.
That coming from Rob Konrad here with us after his letter on a strategic imperative sent to the Syracuse University Board of Trustees as they search for their next athletic director. Rob, as always, I appreciate your expertise. I appreciate your time. And more than anything else, I appreciate your care for this school that represents my hometown and all the work that you've done. I look forward to talking with you soon.
You as well, buddy. Good. Have a good day. Take care, everyone.
Take care. That coming once again from Rob Konrad here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the last to bear the number 44 in Syracuse football history, and always a great resource here with me on and off the air, and I appreciate his friendship. I also appreciate professionally getting to speak with him. So we're going to take our final step aside here on Wake Up Call, and when we come back, we'll wrap up today's show. A lot of big news. I'm going to be emceeing an event with Kyan Anthony, and you just heard a lot about the search for the next athletic director at Syracuse University. Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is your home for all things sports, be it local, regional, national, or international. And I cannot thank you enough for spending some time with us. Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time and beyond.
For Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvalanche, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks coming to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York is your one-stop sports card and trading card shop. Find your way over to GG Cards and Breaks Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sundays from 10 to 5, and this Saturday, a big-time event going on for the community from 5 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. We're doing a Tops Rip Night, and during that time period, we will have a special guest appearance from Cayenne Anthony, who's going to be interacting with you, the fan only at GG Cards and Breaks. Cayenne Anthony on site on location this Saturday, February 21st at GG Cards and Breaks. Get there early. The event officially starts at 5, but you can always line up outside. Get to GG Cards and Breaks, 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. You want to get in, get registered, get everything set for when Cayenne Anthony comes to town to GG Cards and Breaks. So he'll be coming from the Dome to GG Cards and Breaks after playing a game against North Carolina with the Syracuse Orange. Can't wait to have Cayenne Anthony on site on location at GG Cards and Breaks. This Saturday, February 21st, the event starts at 5, it ends at 8:30, and it features Cayenne Anthony.
Come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville Bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
Big time thanks to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. You will find them there for you. You can't miss it. It's a giant brick building with a double drive-through. You can order on the app, go inside, or you can have some catering done by Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Find out more by going to wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and clicking on the Chick-fil-A Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard logo. And, of course, you can head there right now, grab yourself some lunch, whether you're a fan of the original, the spicy, the grilled, whatever it may be, or if you just want to get some of that mac and cheese. I totally understand it. And, of course, those amazing milkshakes and the frosted beverages that are now available, head out to Chick-fil-A DeWitt today on the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. Thank you for being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios today. A fantastic conversation with two wonderful young men here in our society in Central and Upstate New York, that being Anthony Sawanec as well as Jesse DeMaintenon, and I appreciate them both from OCC Baseball. And I do want to thank the wonderful opportunity that I've had with OCC over the last 6 months. I want to thank Mike Borsch, Taylor Casella, as well as the student athletes, the coaches. I want to thank Rob Edson in heaven for having a vision with me that I feel like could turn into something special. I hope I made you proud, Rob, in this opportunity that I've had these last few months. GG Cards and Breaks, and the fact that I'm going to MC an event with Cayenne Anthony is insane in the best of ways, and I can't wait. I'm excited. And Rob Konrad bringing so much to the table today to really get to the meat of this next search for the athletic director at Syracuse University. So, big time thanks to you who are with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Of course, you could search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT, on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you have to do is search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. So make sure that you do that today. Bookmark us and save us. Make sure to support our Central and Upstate New York partners, Great Lakes Honda City, Carvel DeWitt, where I have my new sundae, The American. And you can go and get strawberry sauce with vanilla ice cream, blue M&Ms, red, white, and blue, right there for you, including brownie pieces, whipped cream, and a cherry. And on Wednesdays, like today, it's buy one, get one. So the first BOGO Wednesday of the history of The American at Carvel DeWitt is happening right now. So get out there today to 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. The Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Breaks, Myers Creek, Bryan's Landing, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world, Canine Camp Dog Daycare, Pizza Man, Canine Campground Dog Boarding, Chick-fil-A Cicero, Mother's Cupboard, Game Point Sports Complex, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, Avicoli's, and we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Onondaga Community College Lasers. You'll find the Lazer Lounge here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora by going to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the OCC playlist. You can also find out more information by going to onondagalazers.com. The Binghamton University Bearcats are exclusive multimedia marketing partners with Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Find your Bearcats every single Tuesday during Bearcat time on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Tuesdays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time worldwide. Student athletes, coaches, administration, and alumni all converging here on Wake Up Call from the greater Bearcat family. Our content is on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. Click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find the Binghamton playlist. The Bearcats are also on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information, go to binghamtonbearcats.com and go Bearcats. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. I want to thank Anthony Sawanec as well as Jesse DeMaintenon. I want to thank GG Cards and Breaks and Josh Gideon for this incredible opportunity to be there with Tops as well as GG Cards and Breaks, and to be the MC of the entire night of this Tops Rip night at GG Cards. Yes, that Tops, the Tops that I've been opening packs and boxes of pretty much my whole life, will be at GG Cards and Breaks, the Tops Rip night featuring Cayenne Anthony, and I will be your MC of the entire event. I can't wait to see you there. And of course, big time thanks to Rob Konrad for the fantastic behind-the-scenes look at the next search for the athletics director at Syracuse University. For now, from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, I say, God bless, no stress. Do your best. We'll talk soon. Stay safe, everybody. Be good to each other. And be good to yourself.